So, folks, today I thought I'd make Mama's fish pie, and I'm going to be making Mama's healthy option fish pie in honour of my own mum, my dear mum. Now, where is my dear mum? Let's have a look. Where is my dear mum? Hello, mum. My beautiful mum. I took this shot in Guy's Hospital. Look, she's got £10 in her hand. David, now go and get some sandwiches. Here's the money, I insist. My beautiful mum. Hello, mum. I'm doing your fish pie today, Ma. And I'm doing it to the likes of Neil Young. And I fished this book out, which my dad bound, Auguste Escoffier's Cuisine. To David, with love from Mum and Dad. The life it will... I've got my reading glasses on. Oh, let's hope it improves your cooking. 25th of the 7th, 10th, 10. It's a beautiful bit of work there. So, what have I got for Mama's fish pie? Well, Mama's always frugal with her cooking, feeding a family of 5, and she used to go to the fishmonger in Cranbrook and say, have you got any fish scraps for a fish pie? And they say, of course we have, Eileen. And they used to give her a bucket of fish scraps, and all good quality fish scraps. She had to take the bones out and peel the skin off, but you know, it just made a perfect fish pie. Nowadays, you can't go to a fishmonger, they're far and few between. So I've got my fish from, I think that's from Sainsbury's, that one. I think they're both from Sainsbury's actually. Frozen. Now, for my fish pie, this is fish pie mix, and that's just white fillets. I think that's skinless, boneless, reasonably sauced. Yeah, that's what we need. And this has got salmon, pollock, smoked haddock. Smoked haddock's very important for your fish pie. Yeah, so, and this is going to be a fish pie with a crumble topping. With my potatoes, I've got some sweet potato in there as well, just to make it a little bit more healthier. I would do a normal sweet potato topping, but it gets too watery, so the potatoes, just normal Maris Piper, helps hold them together. Corn flour, cheddar, quite a nice strong cheddar, tiny bit of basil, fresh basil, my little tray to cook the fish in, a blender if you've got one. If you haven't, you have to use a knife and chop the bread up really small. Peas, that's the side. Milk, bit of Dijon mustard, any mustard you can do it. American, English, anything you want. And a little bit of Liam Perrins. And that, oh, and eggs. Eggs, of course, and tomatoes for the topping as well. And butter. Anything else? Yep, so that's it. Let's get cracking. So, now, I haven't defrosted the fish, reason being is that when the, let me just turn this down a bit. When the fish is caught at sea, it's frozen there and then, and hence keeping all the nutrients and the vitamins and the minerals and everything else. Because once a plant or an animal has died, all the nutrients and vitamin C starts breaking down, the natural sugars start breaking down, and they disappear. So I'm cooking this from frozen. Now I'm not going to cook it totally through, because the rest of the cooking is going to be in the oven when the pie's finished. But the with the fish, it releases all its water content, and it's like a fish stock almost. So I'm going to put that out in the oven for, let's say, 15 minutes, and we'll check it after 15 minutes. Now, this is going to feed a family of 5, and I think the whole price of everything I've got here, I'm only going to use a couple of slices of bread. That is quite expensive, that's sourdough. I use sourdough because it's easier to digest than normal bread, because the wheat has been fermented. So, okay, gluten intolerant people still can't have it, but it's still better to eat than normal bread. Sourdough, I recommend it than any other bread. Yeah, so I'm going to put that in the oven now, and then get the juice out of it when it's half, 3/4 cooked. So my eggs I've boiled for literally 6 minutes because I want the yolks to be runny in the inside. Don't overcook an egg ever. You want that nice little bit, tiny bit of runniness in the middle. So now I'm just refreshing those. I use Maldon sea salt as usual, and I've hello. So yeah, grated cheese. I've counted up the price again. It's round about, with the cheddar, I forgot about the cheddar, how bloody expensive cheddar is. That cheddar adds up to the price, so it's around about £6. So around about £1.25 a portion cost price. In a restaurant, I'd sell this for about £12–13. The fish is cooking quite nicely in there. Already it's got quite a lot of liquor at the base. I will reduce that liquor to get the full flavour from it later on. So, and you notice I've cooked it in parchment paper, so you haven't got the connection with the metal and the fish, because you might get the flavour from the metal and the fish, especially in the baking tray. So the parchment keeps it from that. There's me talking about Mum going up to the they're boiling together, so nice healthy portion of potatoes and sweet potato, carbon fibre. I did come out with it. The carbohydrates in a sweet potato are about the best carbohydrates a human can absorb, so awesome stuff. Yeah, I want to tell you a story about my mum talking about going to the fishmonger. I remember going into the butcher's with Ma, and we walked into the butcher's and she said, "Oh, hello Bill, have you got any bones for the dog?" And Bill would say, "Oh Eileen, we've got some lovely bones out the back, got quite a bit of meat on them as well, so your dog's going to love them." And I was holding Mum's hand and I looked up to Mum and I went, "Mummy, when are we getting a dog?" And I've just broken one of those boiled eggs open. You can see there, it's still runny, but it will hold. And then you'll break that into your fish pie mix. Wow. So I've got my chopped up, I've used the crust ends of my sourdough. It's got a few seeds in there as well, and pumpkin seeds, so you know, it's quite a hearty, rustic bread. This is for my crumble. A couple of ounces of butter melted in the microwave. And a couple of handfuls of cheddar. Now I use this at work all the time for crab crumbles, any savoury crumble you're going to use. This is my recipe, and I love it, and it's gone down really well with whatever I've done in the past, with potted shrimps to crab crumble to fish pies. So put all the ingredients in there like that. First of all, I crumble up the crumbs. There she blows. Right, okay, so now I'll put a good handful of cheddar in there, maybe a little bit more. And then a small amount of butter. And I'll crumble it up again. Now if you process this too far, it turns into a dough, so you've got to keep your eyes on it. You've still got to be, just pulse it basically. See that? Now I think that could do with a little bit more butter. Let's put the rest of it in. So that's 2 to 3 ounces of butter, a couple of crusts of the end bits of the bread, a couple of handfuls of cheese. And that's it. That's your crumble topping. So the butter stops it from burning, stops the bread from burning. The cheese binds it all together when it melts, and you get a nice crispy crumble topping. So I've taken the fish out. Now you know when the fish is cooked is when it starts releasing small amounts of white foamy stuff on the fish. That means the proteins start to come out the fish, and really and truly maybe I've just overcooked this a tad. In fact, I have overcooked it a tad, but oh well. Just goes to show 40 years of cooking and you can still overcook stuff. So anyway, all that lovely stock there I'm going to strain and reduce. Oh, I don't know. Sissy David. Well, you know when you do it, not to do it as much as this, but you just need the little pieces of white to appear on the fish, especially the salmon, and that's when you know the fish is ready to pass. So there it is, reducing. I want to get that so it's just bubbling on the bottom of the pan, and I'm going to add some milk and all the rest of the ingredients. I'll go through that when I do that, but that needs to reduce. Potatoes are boiling nicely, the sweet potato. There's my mix. I've gently just broken it up. You still might get some more liquor come out of that, then I'll pour that into there. One thing I'm missing from here, those of you with a bit of cash in your pocket, but you still can't buy no love, what you could do is buy some massive great juicy prawns to put in there as well. But I thought I had some prawns in the freezer, but my boy Charlie decided to do a lime chili and ginger prawn dish the other night, and hence no prawns, and I forgot about that. Hey. Yeah, look at that. Now I can hear people saying, "Whoa, it's supposed to be healthy fish pie, and you're using butter and cheddar and loads of eggs." You know, but it is, our body can digest animal fat and put animal fat to better use than any of these lightweight pseudo fats that just full of chemicals and just, you know, just show your body that's it's not what it needs really. So that's my fish stock. Now I've had to put it into a different pan because it caught round the sides and it had a sort of like a burnt smell to the outside, but the inside was fine. So just when it does reduce, it starts to catch, so just be aware of that. Right, I'm just gently smashing the sweet potato and potatoes with a little bit of sea salt and a couple of knobs of butter. No milk or nothing like that, and off. And the milk, because I'm thinking it's the corn flour, stand by it and keep stirring it, because one, it can split, or two, it can catch around the sides and burn, and you'll get a burnt flavour, smoky burnt flavour going through the sauce. So just make sure it's, you stand there stirring it so it gets hot enough for you to have the corn flour to thicken it. So I've mixed about 5 dessert spoons, which is that, of corn flour and water in a small cup, and I've just turned the gas up. Well, we'll do, you know, one-handed work here. Turn the gas up into boiling, because now I'm standing over it. Pour the corn flour and water mixed up in there and carry on stirring. Do you know what, when I was a little boy and I used to have tummy ache and it wasn't very well, my mum used to make arrowroot and milk with a bit of chocolate powder in there, and she used to give that to me to drink to bind myself up. Old-fashioned methods of medication, eh? So you can see that's getting nice and thick and glossy now. So I'm going to turn the gas right down. Just leave it to cook out. Leave the corn flour to cook out. That should be nice. I want it thicker than a normal sauce because even though the fish juices all come out, it still will bleed, and I don't want it to split the sauce when it's in there. So I want the sauce to absorb it, all the juice still that's left in the fish. Now with that, I'm going to have a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a teaspoon of Lea & Perrins. I'm going to taste it for seasoning, i.e. salt and pepper, white pepper, and then I'm going to add my grated cheese. Okay, now remember, you could add anything to this, make it your own twist. Chopped dill would be nice in there, chopped parsley. But I'm just using what I've got in the fridge. You know, I'm just pulled out the fish from the freezer, I had the eggs, and I thought, yeah, I'll add a few tomatoes, a bit of fresh basil, and I thought, yeah, I'll make a fish pie today and film it. So, you know, but this is, you just sort of gently pull that so the sauce gets through to the bottom. That's it. And then I'm going to put the potato and sweet potato on top. Ideally, it's best to let this chill down a bit before you put the potato on top, but I'm doing it now. Cheese sauce, by the way, is bloody lovely. It's one of my favourite sauces, that and peppercorn sauce. A good cheese sauce, you can't beat. And notice I made it with corn flour as opposed to making a roux, flour and butter, and then adding the milk that's been steeped with a studded onion and all that bologna. I mean, yeah, that's good if you've got time for that kind of stuff. But I'm just using corn flour. Plus, you've got, you know, no gluten in corn flour. There you are. Now, I did put quite a lot of sauce and fish in there, and the potatoes that are gently laid on top. Now, when you're cooking this in a slow oven till the top goes golden and crispy with the crumble, you better put it inside another oven dish, a bigger oven dish, because it will bubble over the edge. It will definitely bubble over the edge, and you don't want that all over your oven. You can collect that in, you know, sometimes you can put a bit of water to make so it's like a water bath, so it doesn't burn. There you go. Just a sprinkle of my fresh basil. Now I've saved a small amount of grated cheddar to just lay on top of that, and then I'll put the crumble mix on top of that. So there you go. I'll put it on a grease-proof flying tray to catch all the drips and dregs. Before I put that in the oven, I'll sprinkle some water on the bottom there so it doesn't burn. And that's it. That's going to go out golden and crumbly and crispy. And you serve that with a big bowl of fresh peas with a bit of chopped mint and butter on top. But yeah, that's a twist on Mama's good old fish pie. Not a lot of people do tomato and put tomato on a fish pie, but I do because Mama did. And like I say, there's a lot of eggs in there because eggs really pull everything together. Yeah, so that's going in an oven on about 160 to 180 for a good 45 minutes. I'm going to let that go cold. Well, room temperature, I'll just leave it out because it's for tonight, really. It's for the family to eat tonight. So yeah, big bowl of peas in the middle of the table. Put that in the middle of the table on a wooden board, and just some plates around, and everybody helps themselves. And you know, I like fish pie when it's 2 days old in the fridge. So anyway, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and if she had balls, she'd be your uncle as well. Enjoy.